Aloha, friends and neighbors. Welcome to Astrology, ancient science in the modern world. We're going to start today's show with the sky mirror and cover the first week in February. Get you out of that dreadful, shaky month of January. And, the vibes are going to change a lot soon. Mercury goes direct on the 11th of February. There's a full moon on February 3rd at 14 degrees of Leo. Trines Uranus, hooray, hooray, hooray. Trines conjuncts Jupiter, so, things are going to go great for Aquarian folks. Here's a chart. Let's get into it a little bit. You can see here that the Sun and Jupiter are opposed. This happens towards the end of your next week. Sun's going from 10 to 20 Aquarius, and here's Jupiter kind of trying to help Uranus. It's in trine to Uranus, makes a seesaw quincux to Pluto, and says, the heck with the cops, it's all about the people, and power is bad, and common sense is good. But while Jupiter, the lawyers, are speaking out, here's certain men that don't like that. And, Now it happens that the president's rising sign is 18 degrees Aquarius, and so towards the end of next week and the next weekend you may see him suddenly in action more as the sun crosses his rising sign. Usually a powerful, good feeling. Now we still got the old Uranus-Pluto square here. There's a bad guy. It's been going on. Full moon, opposed Pluto, squared Uranus. You've had this thing overly emotional and active and full of craziness and lunacy for the last month, huh? Yeah. Seems like it sure ruined your weekends. So, it's still there. It's just that after the next full moon on the 3rd, it'll have less emphasis, less lunacy. But they're still in square. There's still problems here. And Saturn here is moving, is still in square to Neptune. That's interesting. It seems like it's depressing the gasoline flow or the price of gasoline. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but the price of oil is going down. And this square here, we'll see how it comes out. Neptune is oil, amongst other things. So, what we're going to do is run the moon around the edge of this planetary pattern, and as it makes angles to the various bodies, these are the people, the actors on the stage, it's like you thinking about what's going on. It's kind of like the flow of pictures and emotions through your mind, and it's moving all the time, and as it makes angles, every 30 degrees it changes to these various actors on the stage. Your mood changes. Yes, like take for instance, if you're on Thursday here, the moon's in Gemini, and you're feeling the brotherhood, and feeling pretty good about the future. Friday, the moon's in Gemini all day till about dinner time. Then it shifts into Cancer, and as soon as it does, well, it starts off in a neat way. There's a trine to Venus. That's Friday night late, early Saturday morning. It's actually about 2:30 in the morning here, Friday, or Saturday morning, the 31st. Anyway, be with somebody you love. And here's a nice trine to Neptune afterwards. That's, brings everything to some high sensitivity and almost, this could be a little religious ecstasy, or everybody's just kicking back and having a beer watch the game. Whatever it is, it's fun, it's full of leisure and comfort and sweet space, and goes on Saturday morning, and could suck you into something here. There's even a nice trine to Mars here as you go into Saturday night, and you feel like jumping out there and getting stuff done. That's the warning bell, because bang, they were at 14 degrees, and what happens? There's a shaking. Yes, and there's more problems with Pluto. Guns. The police don't want to carry those guns. They don't need them. It's just American culture and movies and crap like that that got institutionalized. So any of you policemen out there, ask your union, put it on the ballot next time, and for the police officers to say, yeah, we can get along without pistols. It's a hazard to you guys. I did an OSHA inspection of holsters once for SHOPO, the policemen's union in Hawaii, and guys need help. You're stuck in an institution. So, feel sorry for the poor policeman, poor old Pluto out here. He's gotten trapped into an institution with a black uniform and a gun, and shoot, big brother. So there's a lot more action here Saturday night. The square to Uranus, you could feel all alone, the full moon. And the thing is, it was such a party day from Friday night all the way through Saturday morning, and it's all social and loving, and Mars and Venus are coming up to a conjunction. Yeah, in Cancer, no less. I think it's next week or two, they'll be running along together here in Pisces, see? Here's Venus right now. She's going 3 to 16 degrees of Pisces. Well, Mars is starting at 14 degrees and going only to 22. So the conjunction is coming up kind of fast. I mean, whenever I see that conjunction, I always like to show you my favorite astrologer and what he had to say about this. Ben Franklin, the astrologer, wrote in his almanac, Poor Richard here, 1735. And what he wrote down was, when Mars and Venus, and he actually used these symbols, okay? He knew his astrology very well. The almanac was an astrological thing, developed into Saturday Evening Post. But here he was, writing in for May, must have been the conjunction time. When Mars and Venus in conjunction lie, then maids, whate'er is asked of you, deny. Now, I had gone along thinking, oh yeah, Mars and Venus. Mars heats up Venus and she gets physical and sexy. Venus carnalizes Mars. He forgets about sports and chases with the female hormone. I thought, oh, this is sexy and romantic and Romeo and Juliet. But now Ben Franklin says when they're in conjunction, young maids, don't get into it. Deny. And as I've tested this in the past, now it seems like normal sex, which is Venus, and pleasure, it becomes painful. It's too fast, and there's problems. Mars gets all uppity and kind of hurts Venus, and so he's advising Venus, then maids, whate'er is asked of you, deny. Okay, Ben Franklin, 1735. That's quite a while before. Anyway, more on that later. Yeah, it's in Pisces too. Venus likes Pisces. Okay, where was I? Getting all Venus distracted me. So we got a lot of that kicking here on Friday night, Saturday morning, only to run smack into the disasters of Saturday night, Sunday morning. Now this is no small, ordinary Uranus-Pluto square. This is where the full moon was. It originally was a 14 Cancer. See, here are 14 degrees here. Cancer runs through here. So, and the moon has gone all the way around. And once a week, it's squared this or opposed this or squared it. 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 90 degrees. And now it's come back to the same place where it originally started. Sometimes it feels like it accumulates. That whoever is going to go shoot everybody and commit suicide. Yeah, this kind of stuff only, he thinks about it on the first square, and then he's what's against it on the opposition, and he stuck in it again on the third pass and on the fourth. Sometimes he's thought about this for a month, and he's about to go radical, because the poor old Pluto's had the full moon against it. All those people who do Pluto work. So this is a very special time, and it's no time to get sucked in by the beauties of the Venus-Mars stuff, Neptune there. Oh yeah, have a few drinks. Get romantic. Uh-oh, because shit's going to hit the fan here Saturday night, Sunday morning. And you're going to feel it all the way through Sunday till the moon finally, goes into Leo here Monday morning on the 2nd. and things finally, they get a little settling down. Here's a trine to Saturn. At least I got my bills paid, the afternoon of Monday. But there is a square to who's that? Mercury. An opposition to Mercury. Who's that? I didn't understand. Miscommunication. And this could also be kind of a... Well, anyway, continues right through Tuesday. You're in the full moon zone. The full moon happens here. It's in the middle of Tuesday, the 3rd. It's very close to Jupiter. There's a lot of good things going on with this full moon after the one you just had. It's full of shaking. You're still shaking from it, I know. Well, this one settles it all right down in a kind of neat way because the full moon's here conjunct Jupiter. Jupiter's optimism, openness, expansion. Sometimes the price of gold goes down when Jupiter's set off. Everybody's got new things to do, so they sell their old gold to go off and start something new. Price of gold goes down. Well, here's, a trine to Uranus. There's the high-tech stuff is done. The Brotherhood is there. The technical stuff is going well. So this is a new full moon, and Uranus and Jupiter make a really nice pair here. So this could be a lot of new high-tech stuff coming out. Big expansion of new high-tech stuff worldwide. And this could be another month of brotherhood, unions, common sense could come out here. You watch what happens on Tuesday, and it'll continue right through Wednesday because there's no major aspects. When the moon goes by Jupiter, there's always kind of lightning bolts of truth come out. That's Tuesday night. Check the news. It continues through Wednesday on the 4th. And then when the moon goes into Virgo, Wednesday after dinner here, the vibes change and it becomes a little less steady. Because here's the square to Saturn happens, late Wednesday night. And we all slow down, it gets cold. And here's an opposition to Neptune, problems with liquids, Thursday morning, and confusion. And finally here's an opposition to Venus. The pretty girls are caught up in this. And we're not going to have the fun. We're out of the comfort zone. It's confusing and it's cold. That's what it's about Thursday. Continues right through until Mars comes along Friday on the 6th. But Mars isn't too happy either. The moon's opposing Mars. All young heroes go out. Nobody likes that. Too much rushing. They're, watching football instead of cutting wood. So Mars is in disfavor too, just like Venus was. And they're just not helping. Doggone it. You still could be ticked off at all that Martian stuff right up through Saturday morning when the moon finally goes into Libra. Vibes change again. Saturday afternoon and evening, there's a nice trine to Mercury. We're communicating, and a sextile to Saturn. Responsible communication. Kind of nice. Moon's still in Libra on Sunday, the 8th. Goes by the north node here early in the morning, and we all feel, like mothering and nurturing everybody. It all feels kind of good, huh? Must be a nice breakfast Sunday morning. But look out, you got a little bit of the trap here. Here's Uranus and Pluto in square at 14 degrees. Now the full moon is no longer exciting this so much, but a lot of stuff could happen here. So this is another shaky period. It's not anything like this shaky period here at the end of January. But you could still get residuals. And so Sunday is a good time. You're going to play with electricity, keep one hand in your pocket. If the electronics go bad, it's in the connections. Okay? And feel sorry for the poor policeman. You'll see it comes out pretty good here Sunday night. There's a trine to the Sun, a sextile to Jupiter. The men are telling the truth. Now I understand. Flashes of insight come up late Sunday after a shaky middle of the day. Stay up late and get some healing. And that's the way it is on this first month of February 2015. All right, what's on my mind? I want to share with you a little bit about the tremendous, can we call it conspiracy? It's not as bad as the 70-year-old pot thing. Well, it depends who you are. You know, from the standpoint of an astrologer today, it seems like, nobody even knows what one is. And the astronomers, oh boy, astronomy. And so I marvel at the fact that there's TV specials for hours on the Mayans and on the Egyptians and the pyramids and all this stuff. And all you ever hear is about astronomers, mathematicians and astronomers. And it's just like, it's a dirty word. You can't say astrology. No. Especially amongst those people who are privileged, the PhDs, the smart ones. Oh, we're so smart. See, everything that went before us was just a bunch of superstition. No, they weren't wise people around 1,000 years ago, or 2,000 years ago, or 4,000 years ago. Those guys were all dumb, superstitious savages, and whatever they learned, we can throw it right out the window. Well, I'm going to start with the Antikythera mechanism. Ben would have loved this. The Antikythera is the town off the coast of Greece where some guys dug up this old hunk of brass. Turned out to be full of gears. Turned out to be about, do we dare say the word? No, this is about astronomy. It just happens that this Antikythera mechanism is over 2,000 years old. They found 20 or so of the brass gears. There's another 20 or 30. They don't know what they did, but they figured out this much. It shows you the planet's position, the sun and the moon right to the hour, and it predicts eclipses. And all you do is a crank on the side of the wooden box a thing was all, and you can crank it to any date you want. And it gives you this amazing information. Somebody just found out there's one little dial that tells them when the Olympics every 4 years were going to be held. Anyway, the Antikythera mechanism is very sophisticated astrology. I watch these guys do the great stones, right? The circle of stones in England. Oh my God, it's, people went and worshipped. No, it was a calculating mechanism, and it predicts eclipses. Yes, amongst other things, and does a lot of work. These guys haven't got a clue, just like the Antikythera mechanism. What got me started on all of this? Well, yesterday I looked at Yahoo, where I get my mail, and the third program down was about the Antikythera mechanism. Oh boy, new scientific study is starting. Oh boy, what are they're gonna find out more about? Oh, astronomy? Anyway, the next day it was gone. What was there still is all these things about NASA. There's 6, 7, 8 different things about the astronomers have got a new picture from Hubble. The astronomers have discovered some planet a zillion, billion miles off. The astronomers are doing this, the astronomers are doing that. And yikes. In fact, maybe this is a good time. Leads me right into Ben. Okay, what did he say? 1751, Poor Richard's Almanac. I'm going to read this to you because Ben had an attitude about this, like I do. Courteous reader. Astrology is one of the most ancient sciences, held in high esteem of old by the wise and great. Formerly no prince would make war or peace, nor any general fight a battle. In short, no important affair was undertaken without first consulting an astrologer. Yes, an astrologer. Ben was an astrologer, who examined the aspects and configurations of the heavenly bodies and marked the lucky hour. The hour, the rising sign. Yes, that's how you do it. If I set your surgery time or your travel time or your marriage time, you got to stay within an hour, you get same rising sign. Okay, what did Ben say next? Now, the noble art, more shame to the age we live in. That you're living in and I'm living in is dwindled into contempt. The great neglect us. Empires make leagues and parliaments laws without advising with us. And scarce any other use is made of our learned labors, and it is laborious to learn astrology, than to find the best time for cutting corns or gelding pigs. And he goes on, he says, this mischief we owe in a great measure to ourselves. The ignorant herd of mankind, had they not been encouraged to it by some of us, would never have dared to depreciate our sacred dictates. But Urania has been betrayed by her own sons, those whom she had favored with the greatest skill in her divine art, the most eminent astronomers. Ben puts his finger on these guys. Among the moderns, oh, we're all modern, all this other stuff is super. Anyway, the Newtons, Haleys, and Wistons. Obviously, S's on there, meaning there's other people like these, but these are the three he puts his finger on, have wantonly condemned and abused her, contrary to the light of their own consciousnesses. Of these, only the last named Whiston has lived to repent. Next page, 1751, folks. He speaks his mind honestly in his former works. Let's see, what does he have to say? This is about Whiston. In his former works, Whiston said, astrology is a chimera. Said that not a fixed stars, planets were so immense a distance to be incapable of any influence on Earth. And consequently, nothing could be foretold from their positions. But now in the memoirs of his life, published 1749, 82nd year of his age, he foretells, page 607, the sudden destruction of the Turkish Empire and the House of Austria-German empires, and the popes of Rome, the restoration of the Jews, commencement of the millennium, all by the year 1766. And this not only from scripture prophecies, but in his own words, from the remarkable astronomical signals that were to alarm mankind of what is coming. The northern lights, 6 comets, and 7 comets already seen in the last 11 years. The great eclipse of the sun, he goes on and on. The occultation of the Pleiades. Well, of course, Ben didn't know that Isaac Newton, later that we discovered his notes, and he had 1 million words written on astrology and alchemy. He was a closet alchemist, and you can't study alchemy without astrology. It's just a physical side. Anyway, Newton got kind of poisoned by mercury. They use a lot of it in alchemy. Said he lost his peace of mind. There's an old story that when Halley once stood up in the British Hall of Science and deprecated astrology, that Newton stood up and said, "Sir, I have studied it, you have not." It's a possibility. But anyway, like Ben said, these guys were gifted with the power of Uranus. They just blew it. And they were in charge of all the British Hall of Science for like decades. Like the Bush people in charge of our government. Worse than that. And they set the tone, and the tone was, you know, astrology, tough luck. It's astronomy. Oh boy. Okay, I want to show you a little bit about the Antikythera mechanism before I run out of time now. Okay, so if you've got a computer, you can look up this Antikythera mechanism, and there are papers, and there's some people even trying to build models, even though they've only got 20 gears out of 50 or 60. Anyway, oh boy, this is what was on Yahoo and got scientist tackles mystery. And it was on for one day and then it was gone. Mystery? There's some amazing people. You know, this is made out of brass, and it's the way it looks. 2,500 years ago. They and all, you know, the beauty of this is it's not dependent on electricity or anything like that. You can take it anywhere. It's in a box, and had a crank around it, a crank on the side of the box, and you could crank it and find any date you wanted. Wow. Now I'm reading about this, and here's what one scholar did, a replica, and he said one side of the box had these dials that are quite beautiful. This box did a lot of things. People are totally amazed at what it did. But you know, the interesting thing is nobody mentioned the word astrology. Oh no, this is all about astronomy. I think as long as you have astronomers investigating this stuff, I mean, it was lying there in the museum for like 100 years before some guy, some engineer decided he'd X-ray it and looked and said, wow, there's all gears in there. Here's a short mention. You know, they say, well, it's 32 wheels and plates and gears. There's a lot more than that. They haven't put them together. With inscriptions relating to the signs of the zodiac and the months. So they did mention the zodiac. Oh my God, that's kind of close to the word astrology, huh? So this thing is sitting in a glass display case since 1901. And of course, who'd ever thought it was related to something like a super astrological computer you could take anywhere and do charts and predict eclipses, and wow. Nobody ever thought it could be what it was. That's astounding. You know, there's some Greek, they didn't think the Greeks were that advanced. Oh no, it had to be Archimedes or somebody. Any more pictures? No. Shame to the age we live in, been lamented, you know, for disposing of astrology that way. Boo! Come back next week. Aloha.